Thanks, y'all. This is Jeff Oxenford, and welcome to our second SOP webcast. I'm the moderator of the SOP Cooperative, and again, appreciate all of our members that have been supporting the SOP Cooperative and helping us move forward with things. I get my slides up to full screen here. Hopefully. There we go. All right, there we go. I'm just going to give you a very quick introduction, and then I'm going to turn it over to Doug and Cindy. So our two presenters today, as we're talking about heavy truck training and maneuvering at their facility, we have Cindy Goodburn, and Cindy is the Business Services Manager at the City of Englewood, the Littleton Englewood Wastewater Facility. She's been there for 29 years. You're not that old, Cindy. And has been responsible for managing the utility business functions and technical systems. She's been very active in regional and national workforce, knowledge management, and strategic planning for water and wastewater utilities, and has a master's degree in organizational management. Doug Graham is the beneficial use supervisor at the City of Englewood, at the Littleton Englewood Wastewater Facility. And for over 34 years he's been there, with the first 24 in the maintenance department. He supervises staff in safe transportation, and application of biosolids to their dry land farm in eastern Colorado. Before they go, I'm just going to give you a little bit of logistics for the webcast for today. First off, we have a little chat feature in the bottom of your tool. This is where you can ask questions. It may say chat or it may say questions depending on when you're looking at it. If you can't figure out where to go, on the very upper right-hand corner is a control panel, and if you click that arrow, it will bring this out for you to be able to see that, and then you can ask it actually says question on this. You can ask a question for this. So just real quick, if you get a chance just to get an idea of how this actually works, if you go right ahead and just tap something into that question box. And then for the magic of science, it shows up on my will show up on my screen here. Hopefully. While you're doing it, I'm just going to say that the other features that we do have on here, you can. We're actually probably not going to be doing a poll. They're going to be asking you some questions. Thanks, Joseph and Matthew. I appreciate you guys joining us. And then there's also, just so that you know, there is a raise your hand feature on the bottom of that control panel. If you want to ask a question and I'm not responding to you, click on that raise your hand and you can ask a question that way also. Cool. Well, thank you all for attending. Just to let you know that this webcast will be recorded and made available through the SOP Cooperative. And so we will make this available typically by Monday. I should have this up on the site so you guys can see it. And then the other thing is, just because you're cooperative members, we can bring this training to you. So if you have a need to have this come to your system or other topics, we've got a quite an ambitious schedule of other topics. I'd be happy to come in and do a short presentation. I don't think I can volunteer Doug, but I might be able to volunteer Cindy. We'll see about that, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so just so you know that the way this series is structured, for alternate months, we're going to talk with the how-to, and I should be getting started with SOPs. I had one or two technical difficulties with the webcast, and I'm trying to figure out how to edit that out. But I will be making that webinar available shortly. That was the March webinar, and that's where we talked about, you know, the templates and other things associated with SOPs. And then the alternate months, the even months, we are going to do case studies. So this is one of our first case study ones. In June, we're going to do one on water main breaks, and probably in some of the SOP programs that are available. Hopefully we'll get Littleton Englewood to participate in that one also in August. So just to give you an idea, I think the May one's going to be a little late just because of a couple of scheduling challenges. So it'll probably be the second week in June, and then we'll have one the last week in June to get back on schedule. Just to let you know, Douglas will be coming back to this, but we took a lot of the materials we have. A PDF of his slides are available on the Tools and Templates folder of the SOP Cooperative website. And then he has this really nice internal guide plan, control plan, and that is available. If you have any problems ever finding stuff on the website, I have a goal to get this revised here by the end of the summer, is really get in and reorganize the website. We're going to keep it running until the summertime, and then after the summer we'll get it revised. But if you have any problems finding anything, let me know and I can guide you through it. And finally, you can get TUs. I got these approved from OCPO, and so you can get training units for water and wastewater, collections and distribution, because SOPs cover everything. So again, it's point 1 for attending this webinar. And basically what you do is at the end of this presentation, there will be it's a 4-question evaluation. I think you can do that. If you have multiple people at your location, I have to use what they call a proctoring form. If you don't have one, let me know and I can send that to you. But again, at the end of the thing, just take the evaluation, submit the evaluation, and we should be good to go to get you a certificate. And again, it takes me about a week to get you a certificate. Okay, with that, I am going to turn it over to Cindy here. Give me 1 second. Cindy, I want to show your screen. You have to say yes to when I give you to show your screen?
Yeah. Yes. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Oh. Well, we got to go back to the webinar. Minimize this real quick. Where's the show? Sorry, where's your show your screen?
You know what? I'm going to take it back and then hang on a second. There we go. Coming to you right now.
Okay, so click on the show my screen. There now.
Okay, we see to go to the webinar, and then we see your presentation. Make it full size and go right ahead. And again, folks, if you have any questions, I'll be monitoring questions. Take it away.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad everyone was able to attend today. This is a pretty neat training program that Doug put together, and I felt like it was really relevant to share. I'm mostly here to support Doug and not really do the presenting. But I did want to say that anytime you're building a training program, you're learning something too. So a good way to get trained is to have to teach something. And the cool thing about this was we learned as we were designing this course some things that presented safety problems for us that we maybe have been doing for years and didn't even realize because we hadn't looked at it. So we were able to get benefit by identifying some things that we could actually say, don't do this anymore, and improve our safety. And then the other neat thing about this is that the testing and measuring at the end, where Doug put together a really nice scenario-based training and took everyone out in the field, and they actually had to drive the trucks and maneuver them based on the concepts they learned in this training. So that's why I brought this forth to Jeff as one that I thought would be relevant to a lot of people. So I'm just going to turn it over to Doug and let him take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Jeff. We appreciate your attendance today, and hopefully you guys find this useful. We call this a part of our internal traffic control plan. We're going to work on expanding that for other areas for like contractors and stuff, but this primarily deals with the operational staff moving heavy trucks around the plant site only. This is not for out on the road, because out on the road you would need a commercial driver's license. And the way our operational staff, their job descriptions are written, it is a requirement of them to move these heavy trucks in and out of buildings and load them. either with grit from the headworks building or biosolids from our dewatering building. So I had some help with this from a couple of my drivers, and we presented 2 separate scheduled trainings last year on this, and then there were a couple retests for people that we felt needed more practice before they were passed. And we've hired 1 new operator since then, and he too has been trained this year. The first step in something like this is we write a work order. That way we can track our time and the participants and any costs associated with doing this. And in this particular case, there was very little cost. I think I bought some safety cones to set up a parking scenario out in the parking lot. So one of the reasons why we're doing this is we're a plant that's committed to safety. And part of that includes our vehicles, our equipment, our buildings. And we had a series of minor, we'll call them fender benders, and we just wanted to improve on that, to eliminate that and to prevent a more serious accident with possibly personnel.
Well, and the other thing on that is that they were kind of ongoing bumps and fender benders that have been going on for quite a few years, and those types of things do drive your insurance premiums up. So our risk manager was very happy to be informed about this training and see how it was being done to help us.
Yeah, we ran the training for all of our operational staff, the people who are responsible for moving the heavy trucks, and we let them know, look, you're not in trouble for anything. We want to help you do your job safely, and that you're going to participate. It was very interactive. The original PowerPoint that you're viewing today, classroom portion, took right at 2 hours with each class, and then the hands-on driving took an hour. So it was a 3-hour total training program, and I think the benefit of that was people went straight from the classroom to the hands-on and were tested, and I think we had great success in doing it that way. So when the operators are required to move, for example, a dump truck into the headworks building, it's not a task that they may do very often. Because of vacation time or process area assignment, they may not get back to the headworks building for 3 or 4 months. So we wanted to provide a resource that they could refer to if they had any questions after the training, and that our SOP is on our internal information network, and people can refer to that. In developing the training, I got staff input and feedback on this, suggestions for what they wanted to see in the training. And as you can see, the questions are in blue, and then we answered the questions in red. There's some pretty unique things that came out of that. One instance is if the drivers park the trucks straight so that they're headed into the building and the operators don't have to do a lot of maneuvering, that's actually a pretty easy request to fulfill. Let's see. Another thing was and you'll see in the slides, we reviewed all of the controls in the cabs of each type of truck, the 10-yard and then the beneficial use trucks, because they are a little bit different. And that way everybody could ask questions and again has the information to review at a later time if they need to. And this would be our a view of the inside of our biosolids trucks, and just some basic stuff there. And I found it pretty interesting that there was an operator that had never driven a stick shift before, and now she can drive a 18-wheeler around the plant site, and she does very well, actually.
So these are really typical of Littleton Englewood SOPs. We have very few words and lots of arrows and just short phrases. And any of you that have seen any of our SOPs, all of them look very similar to this. So it makes it real easy to navigate through. If you forget and just need to pull up an SOP, you don't have to read 10 pages of words.
It's the old KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And this would be our 10-yard dump truck, and they are an automatic. They didn't have to shift these, so that makes it a little bit easier. So here's an overhead view of our dewatering complex. They're kind of off-center to the left where the two green marks are with the two behind it. So that's where we load our beneficial use trucks. And another neat thing that came out of this training was that when we started looking at how things were being done, and it became very obvious why there was accidents happening. So we were able to eliminate a pinch point, so to speak, and change up the way things were done. And we had to drive around another building, but like I kept telling the staff, we're not in a hurry to get into an accident. So we come out of the building, go down the road, and go around an extra building, and then we can maneuver into the dewatering building. And that's one of the scenarios that you have to work around too, is we could only access this building from this side. So we used to go here with our trucks, and as you can see, that's a very tight turn, and it's congested and makes it hard to get it into the building also. So that's a benefit from doing this. The operators are required to check out the truck before they load it, and it's a very simple, quick version of when you actually do a pre-trip inspection on a commercial vehicle, but we're not that in depth because the staff is not required to drive them off the plant site. So therefore they do not have to have a commercial driver's license. So we just wanted to keep this pretty basic and have the operators notice any big obvious problems and check a few safety things and enter and exit the truck correctly so that they don't get hurt with slips and falls. And
Doug, what does happen when during a walk around on these trucks and trailers they find that there's an oil leak or a fuel leak or something like this? What's expected of the operator at that point?
Well, at that point, Cindy, the operator is expected to basically tag the unit out of service so that nobody else were to try to move it or operate it. Obviously, we wouldn't load it, and we would write a work order and or call our service center to have them initiate repairs on that. It's a lot easier for the service center to work on a vehicle if they can do it in their garage rather than over here on our plant site, because all their tools are over there, and we don't want to load a vehicle and then have to unload it either. So, and basically they're looking for a big puddle of oil under it, you know, a big fuel leak. They need to check the lights and make sure the horn works for safety. If you're driving a truck around, you need to honk the horn to warn somebody to move. It better work. And now there is a really neat YouTube video of the proper entry and exit of commercial vehicles, and it's the three-point contact rule. You must always have at least one hand and 2 feet, or 2 hands and 1 foot touching the vehicle, and you want to face the vehicle entering and face it exiting. And basically, if you were to do a video, you wouldn't be able to tell if you were going in or out of the truck if you stopped the video. So that's really important, because there's been people that'll walk forward out of a vehicle and slip because of snow and ice or mud.
Yeah.
So I encourage you all to find that on YouTube. At some point in time, we may be able to send a link out.
Is that pertinent also for heavy equipment in general, Doug? Or
yes, all equipment you should practice safe entry and exit to prevent slips and falls, and that'll work. In fact, we have incorporated that policy for our forklift too.
Clearly, I haven't had the training.
Not yet.
I've had it.
All right, so all right. So once we check out the vehicle and determine that it's safe to move, and we get it loaded, or we need to move it into the building to load it, if you can't see safely around you, don't move. If you can't see your spotter, don't move. Check for obstacles, and again, we're not in a hurry to get hurt. Take your time. It only takes just a little bit longer to do it right, and it never hurts to ask for help, and spotters are a great benefit of this training. It gets more people involved, and you get to see other things that you might not see if you're doing this job by yourself. And then we have mentioned that we have a lot of SOPs, so staff was required to review the existing SOPs for truck filling. There's a couple separate ones, one for headworks and one for our dewatering building. So if you remember from the overhead slide of the dewatering building, this is actually the turn that we eliminated from the operator's day-to-day functions. We will continue to go straight down that road and go around that building instead of turning in front of it. But having slides like this with arrows and our actual streets and our trucks helps staff really relate to the message that we were trying to send to them.
Well, and the other thing is this makes it very visual. When you look at this picture, you can just tell that's a really awkward, not safe, not very safe turn to make. It goes into the other lane of traffic, and so that's a good analysis tool, would you say?
Yes. So now we've, in this slide, obviously the truck's been pulled into the building, and the point I was trying to show here was before you pull into the building, be aware of your surroundings, check it out for obstacles before you ever pull the truck into the building. There's a movable platform or stair platform there on your left, and sometimes it's not always out of the way, and if you're not paying attention, you could obviously run into it. On the right, there's some valves with chains hanging down, and we had to secure them to the wall, which are still accessible, but they're not hanging in the truck bay as much. And in the past, those have been caught on the mirrors. That's not cheap to fix. Another thing you want to look for is this is a scale platform. Actually, this truck is supposed to be parked on, and as you can see, one of the tires is not on the scale all the way, and that would provide an incorrect weight for the truck, and we could possibly, if that truck was to leave the plant site loaded, it would obviously be overloaded, and we could get a big ticket for that. So there's another thing we wanted to prevent. Yeah, make sure you're centered under your hopper for proper loading. All the tires need to be on the scale. And that was the dewatering building, and we'll move on to our headworks checklist. It's very similar. This one is a little bit different because we wanted to make sure the tarp is all the way open on the trucks before you pull them in the building, because there's not enough room to open them once you're in the building. Again, all your safety items, and there's the SOP we have for our loading of the grit trucks. So here's a picture of our headworks building and a 10-yard attempting to move into the building. And I would ask you if you can notice anything there that you would be aware of before you move the truck into the building. So obviously some of the responses we got was the overhead clearance is very tight, and the clearance for the mirrors is also very tight. This building was designed a long time ago, and it's something that we have to work with. There's other considerations, pedestrians, small equipment. We have small utility vehicles, golf type carts on plant site, and I really wanted to emphasize that they are no match for a heavy truck. When we move our trucks in and out of the buildings, if they're loaded, we have a policy that of no spills or leaks. So I wanted to verify with the operational staff that there were no leaks before they moved the trucks out of the buildings. So you'll see in the lower left corner, that's our headworks building, and that's where the grit trucks are parked. And here again, we developed a new route and eliminated a safety point. I'll just click the button here, and then the blue arrows kind of take you around to another part of the plant site. And again, it doesn't take that much longer. So we're avoiding a high traffic area. Up there on the left is our administration building, the maintenance shop, the grounds maintenance shop, the operations hub, and there's just a tremendous amount of foot traffic and small utility vehicle traffic, and I could see something happening there someday, so we decided to go out the plant site the long way around. and here's a closer shot of that high traffic area. And again, as in the headworks slides, maneuvering in and out of the buildings, there's shadowed areas. You're going from daylight into a dark building. That causes problems. We emphasized again to use a spotter. And
well, and the other thing on this is obstacles. Not only does the road narrow here, but what you can't see in this picture is that it kind of curves to go around one of our major switchgear, electrical switchgear here at the plant. And so you're turning and the road is narrowing, and so there's a lot of obstacles to get around on this route.
yes, yeah. At this point, I asked if there's any questions from staff, and wanted to emphasize again, if they found something wrong with the vehicle, what would they do? We reviewed our process for communications to others, writing work orders, and taking unit out of service. And
Hey,
so
Doug,
then,
Doug, real quick question. We got a question that, are the SOPs, do we get those in the library yet? Maybe Cindy, do you know, or do we need to get these specific SOPs in our library?
I believe we need to get them in the library.
the truck loading one?
Yeah, all of these. Yep, we will be doing that soon.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'll put it associated with the webinar.
Okay, great.
Thank
and
you.
Then I had a poll question for our audience, and the question is, name 2 benefits of creating an SOP and an SOP that includes a scenario type training.
So if you would, write that into your question box.
Oh, me?
No.
Oh.
Whoever's attending, they're still awake out there. This also, I can use this to show Akpo that you guys are still alive at the conference.
Yeah, yeah. So name 2 benefits of creating an SOP and associated training.
We'll even take one. Here we go. Do you see those, Cindy, or not?
No,
It's a uniformed way of solving problems, from Matthew Pritchard.
Oh,
Very well put.
nice. Very nice.
Any other ones? If anything pops up, I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Jeff. So after the classroom review, we started talking about what they're going to be expected to know in the big picture of things here. We wanted to go out and actually physically drive the trucks and without hitting anything or anyone.
Well, and did they have to maneuver in and out of each of these areas that
Yes.
we talked about?
Yes, each operator was tested, and oh, look, here's the actual test we used, and the only thing different was we put in a comment box so that the trainer could write in comments about the test and stuff. These tests were given back to the operators so that they could refer to them also as far as areas for them to improve on or what have you. We checked them to make sure that they did the pre-trips, and we did this very similar to a commercial driver's license test where I walk around with them, I'm doing the test, and they are talking to me and pointing and telling me what they're checking. For instance, they'll say, okay, I'm looking underneath the truck for a big oil leak. And
Yeah.
Oh, good. You got a couple, just real quick, couple comments real quick. One comment is
Okay.
you may want to put a sign inside the door of the building where the road curves. Give people a heads up.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's just one suggestion.
Okay.
And then the other one, which I think fits really good in with this road test, you know, SOPs are really great for tasks that operators don't do frequently, so they can review it. How often do you guys move these trucks?
Well, a grit truck would probably be once a week, and the dewatering biosolids trucks once a day.
Okay. Yeah, so the idea of the SOP for tasks that are not frequent, and also to make sure everybody's on the same page doing the procedure the same way.
Yes, yes.
And then the comment just on the previous picture, I guess it was the side of the building, the side door of in the last slide. So
Okay.
we can go back. Yeah, that side, probably that side door over there, especially because it's shade. I could see walking out into something without looking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're going a little fast, you might not make the stop in time. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Good comment. Thank you.
All right. Once we get into the truck, they need to fasten their seatbelt and adjust their mirrors. Some pretty basic stuff, but what was pretty interesting to see was watching them actually go through the motions of doing these things and getting comfortable and preparing themselves for moving the truck. And I think they appreciated that. That was the feedback I got.
Do you think it's easy to get a little bit lackadaisical when you're just moving a vehicle on a plant site? Oh, I don't need to buckle up, or
Absolutely.
oh, I don't need to adjust the mirrors, or
Use the 3-point entrance and exit.
yeah, because I'm just moving it right over here.
Yeah, this will only take a second. So after everybody completed the test, they were rewarded with a certificate, but we really wanted to emphasize that they will be able to do their job and do it safer than they were doing it before, because everybody is consistently trained now. They have the feedback from all the operators that of where things could be improved upon. And in the first test, there was 24 operators, and they all passed but 2 of them, and then we retested those 2 after they practiced, and basically all that was they just needed to get more comfortable with doing it more often, and once they practiced, they were fine. And one other thing I might add to this is, if you're going to develop an SOP and develop a training program similar to this, somebody needs to be the champion of it. I developed the training, I got all the feedback, I did the testing, and I followed through with all the operators to see how they see what they thought of it. And even since then, we have had a little incident with a truck tarp that the wind blew up and we didn't catch it, and so I did a root cause analysis investigation on that, and one of the questions on there was the prior heavy truck training adequate? And the response was, yeah, that was fine. That's not the problem. So we developed a different solution to that tarp problem.
Well, and that was a severe weather issue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing about having a champion in addition to the person that's actually developing the training, as we were preparing for this presentation, we realized no one applied for TUs. We sent 24 or 25 people through this training, and nobody got TUs for it. And this is the type of thing that's really, really appropriate for if you're taking 3 hours of staff time, they want to get some benefit besides, you know, learning the training. So if they can get TUs, all those administrative things that go into this really should be handled by a champion. So when you do that, don't forget to apply for TUs.
Yes, that would have been a nice
we
thing
wish we would have.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, actually. Thank you for answering it already.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I was just seeing if Doug had a poll question for our audience.
Yeah, in creating an SOP like this, is there another benefit of your staff?
For your staff?
For your staff, besides the actual training.
We'll give everybody a second to write something in. So I'm waiting for them to come up. I think, yeah, one thing that at least I saw when you guys were doing that was just where your red X's were.
Yes.
You guys were able to identify that and tell everyone that. I think that was a really pretty great benefit. So now people know to stay away from those roads, and you've actually considered that. So you've actually changed the procedure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And the question was, you've had one incident. How many incidents were you having beforehand?
Oh, you know, we didn't have an accurate database to pull that from, but if my memory serves me right, we were having 2 or 3 accidents a year
Okay.
between the two buildings.
See? And one of the benefits just came in, putting information out to your employees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great benefit.
Really good. This is also a really good way to review. Our SOPs are reviewed typically on an annual basis, and to review them every year and go through them in this type of scenario where you're having an operator under testing who could also be using the SOP as part of the testing, just to make sure you haven't had any gaps over the course of the last year or so.
Yeah, and Stephanie put a really good comment here, was the benefits to staff is develop confidence in their job skills. They know they're doing the job correctly. That's pretty right on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another one was implementing your SOPs with other companies, and probably you could probably share those with contractors in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that would be the routes that have been determined for heavy truck usage would actually, that's a really great point. That would be something we'd review with the contractor's safety officer.
That'll probably be part of one of our next SOPs is, you know, continuing on with the internal traffic control plan contractor part, because we have to hire big cranes come in and lift pumps and whatnot. So it would be nice if they avoided our high-risk areas too.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
Well, Doug, I thank you so much. This was really some great information. I really appreciate it. I think.
Well, thank you.
And one of the things, just actually, I might steal the. Give me 1 second. Let me go back to the tool here, and I'm going to take back. Let's see, how do I do that? Make me. There we go. All right. So basically, just the last kind of comment is, when I close this webcast out, there will be a evaluation that'll appear immediately. So when you fill out that evaluation, you will get that pretty much immediately, and you can go ahead and I will use that to process and get TU certificates out to y'all. So, and if you have multiple people in your room, just send me an email and I can zip out a proctoring form. Basically, all it says is you certify that X number of people have been in your room. So with that, what I'm going to do, if there's any additional questions, I'm giving you a second to have any additional questions. If not, I will be, again, stopping the recording here in a minute, and then I will, it usually it takes me about a day to get that thing out, so probably on Monday, just to be safe. I will send you a link into that, and that will have the internal traffic control plan. Hopefully we can get some of those SOPs in the library. And do we get the, I don't know if I have the test in there either. Doug, if you could share that also.
Hey, Jeff?
Yes, Cindy.
Our phone system went down.
Oh, okay.
So we missed everything you said, but I'm sure it was fantastic. And what was the last thing?
I volunteered you for a lot of things, but what I said was is by Monday we should have the recording out to everyone and a link to all of the handouts. If we can get the test in there and we can get the SOPs in there, that would be a really great complete package to cover the recording.
Okay, that sounds great. We'll do that.
Great. Well, with that, I'm going to close out the webcast. Again, appreciate everyone's time in doing that. You will see a 5-question survey. One question in the survey, by the way, is if you want to use, you got to give me your email address, and that, because that's how I can process that. And it shows you've been alive all the way to the end. So with that, I will close this out. And again, thank you very much for everything. You all take care. And Douglas, great presentation. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right.